A shift beyond 9mm. For years, I've carried the 9mm. I've trained with it on the range, trusted it for defense, and stocked cases of it because it seemed like the obvious choice. But here's the thing. The gun landscape in 2025 looks very different. More and more shooters, including myself, are reaching for calibers we wouldn't have even considered a decade ago. So here's the real question. Is the 9mm still the undisputed king of handguns? Or are we witnessing the start of its slow decline? What's up, everyone? Ted here with Line 45, and today we're digging into why 9mm may no longer be the default option for every shooter, and which new calibers are stepping up to challenge its long-held throne. Before we get into the meat of this discussion, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss future breakdowns, and drop a comment down below. Team 9mm or Team New Caliber? I'm curious where you all stand in this debate. All right, let's dive in. Why 9mm became the standard? Walk into almost any gun range and you'll see 9mm everywhere. Glock 19s, SIGP 320s, Smith & Wesson M&Ps. You name it. For decades, 9mm has been the go-to sidearm caliber. Why? Because it nailed the perfect balance. It's affordable, accurate enough for most shooters, offers manageable recoil, and you can find it practically anywhere in the world. It became the jack-of-all-trades round that seemed good enough for everything, from military choice to civilian standard. Let's rewind to the 1980s. NATO standardized on 9mm, which meant the US military and most of its allies followed suit. Law enforcement eventually shifted too, and for years .40 S&W looked like it might replace 9mm. Until the FBI famously abandoned .40 and came back to 9mm. Why? Updated ballistic testing showed modern 9mm loads could perform just as well as .40, with less recoil, higher magazine capacity, and nearly identical real-world stopping power. That single decision didn't just change the FBI, it sent ripples across the entire concealed carry market. The concealed carry boom. Then came the revolution that really sealed 9mm's dominance, the rise of the micro-compact pistol. When the SIG P365 dropped, it was a game-changer. A gun barely larger than a J-frame revolver suddenly carried 12+1 rounds of 9mm. Competitors followed, and overnight concealed carry shifted. Pair that capacity with cheap practice ammo, softer recoil, and solid defensive loads, and it's no surprise 9mm became America's carry caliber. But fast forward to today, 2025, and shooters are asking, what else is out there? Can something do this job even better? 30 Super Carry, slimmer, but more capacity. If you've ever fired a Shield Plus chambered in .30 Super Carry, you know it doesn't feel like a gimmick. Federal designed this round to be a legitimate 9mm rival. Ballistically, it runs side by side with 9mm. Take Federal's 100-grain HST load. It clocks around 1,250 feet per second, almost identical to a comparable 9mm load. But here's the difference. Because of the slimmer bullet diameter, you can pack more rounds into the same gun size. A pistol that normally tops out at 10+1 in 9mm can give you 13+1 with .30 SC. Recoil is just a bit lighter, follow-up shots are quicker, and those 2 or 3 extra rounds could make all the difference in a defensive encounter. Sure, ammo costs more, about $35 a box, but defensive shooters don't chase cheap. They chase reliability and performance. And with expansion that stays consistent even from short carry barrels, .30 Super Carry delivers exactly what it promises. Here's my question for you. Would you trust .30 SC enough to replace your everyday 9mm? Comment below. I want to know. 5.7 by 28mm, rifle speed in a handgun. Now let's talk speed. The first time I fired an FN57, my reaction was simple. This feels like a rifle pretending to be a pistol. With lightweight 40-grain bullets screaming at 2,300 feet per second out of a 5-inch barrel, the round is blistering fast, flat shooting, and surprisingly easy to control. Guns like the PSA Rock even give you 23+1 rounds in a magazine. Compared to 15 rounds of 9mm, that's a massive advantage. The catch? Ammo runs $40 to $50 a box. But what you're paying for is performance. Rifle-like penetration, almost no recoil, and long-range accuracy that leaves 9mm in the dust. This isn't your casual plinking round. It's for shooters who want capacity, speed, and barrier penetration in one package. 10mm, when you need serious stopping power. On the opposite side of the spectrum, let's talk about muscle. Pick up a Springfield XDM Elite in 10mm and you'll feel the heft. Fire it and you'll instantly understand why it's trusted for bear defense. A 200-grain Underwood XTP load leaves the barrel at around 1,250 feet per second, slamming nearly 700 foot-pounds of energy into the target. That's revolver-level power, more than many .357 Magnum loads, but in a semi-auto holding 15+1 rounds. Yes, ammo costs more, usually $35 to $45 a box. But this isn't a plinking caliber. It's what you carry in the wilderness, or when you need something beyond what 9mm can offer. It's overkill for daily carry in the city, but in the right role, it's unmatched. Quick reminder, if you're learning something new here, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow, and I'll keep bringing you real-world tests and breakdowns. 357 SIG, the barrier breaker. Next up, .357 SIG. Built by necking down a .40 S&W case to take a 9mm bullet, this round was designed specifically for speed and penetration. A 125-grain gold dot load screams out at 1,400 feet per second, and that's not marketing hype, it's real-world velocity. The result is a round that punches through auto glass, car doors, or other barriers, and still expands reliably once it hits flesh. It's not trendy, and it never had the hype of 9mm or 10mm, but it's a true workhorse. For those who need consistent performance through barriers, .357 SIG is a proven option. 22 TCM, a pocket rifle in a 1911. And now, the wild card, 22 TCM. Fire one of these, and you'll hear a crack unlike anything else on the range. That's because it's essentially a shortened .223 case, firing a 40-grain bullet at about 2,000 feet per second. It's flat shooting, fast, and surprisingly easy to control. Rock Island Armory even sells a 1911 package that ships with both .22 TCM and 9mm barrels, giving you flexibility in one gun. The downside? Ammo availability. At $25 to $35 a box and mostly produced by Arms Corps, it's not as easy to find as 9mm. But if you want a pistol that feels like a pocket rifle, .22 TCM is one of the most unique shooting experiences out there. Why shooters are looking beyond 9mm? So why are people exploring all these alternatives? It's not because 9mm is bad. In fact, it's still the most versatile, affordable, and widely available handgun cartridge in the world. But today's shooters are smarter and more specialized. They're matching calibers to specific roles instead of expecting one round to do it all. Need more rounds in a slim carry gun? .30 Super Carry. Want speed and long-range accuracy? 5.7 x 28. Need power for the outdoors? 10mm. Breaking through barriers? .357 SIG. Craving something exotic? 22 TCM. So I'll leave it to you. Is 9mm still king, or are we finally watching its throne being challenged? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is a debate that's not going away anytime soon. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next breakdown. And I'll see you in the next one.